Coming up next, the Bookening. Reads, Brandon?
No, we don't read, Nathan.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
We're watching, baby. And what are we watching, Brandon?
Murder on the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express. And we'll be murdering what, Jake?
Our taste in movies.
That's to be found out. The numbers and your humble and obedient host joining you for yet another episode. Fun fact about me, I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning. I went to church because we're not actually recording this on the Sabbath because it's midnight on the year of birth of one. No, we'll get to that in a second. First, let me introduce our normal cast of characters.
Day, I think would be.
What?
Nothing.
The day. It's not really the year of my birth. That would have been 1988.
If you hear a small squealing, baby. All right, this is Nathan Albertson, your humble and obedient host, welcoming you to the Bookening, or should we call it the Watchening today, fellas? Because
that's a good one.
Makes us the Watchmen.
Yeah, and who watches this? No one. It's a podcast. Who listens? Nobody ever asked that about the Watchmen.
Nope.
Folks, enough dilly-dallying. What are we, close reads? No, this is the Bookening. We get right to the point on the Bookening. Post Close Reads, a podcast you can listen to on the Circe Institute of Podcasts, available wherever fine podcasts are downloadable. They gave us a nice shout-out on their Murder on the Orient Express episode. They've got the David Kearns and Angela Lansbury, or whatever her name is. They've got the... Tim McGraw, I don't know. And they what they like to do on that podcast. See, what we do is we don't read closely, right?
No, never.
The book in question that we're going to kind of be discussing today, I've never even read. I read about 2 pages and then I realized it wasn't for me. But close reads, what they do is they read closely. So if you listen to just one book podcast, well, I'm going to say listen to the Bookening. If you listen to 2 book podcasts, if you listen to 2 Christian book podcasts, though, I'm going to say close reads. How do you feel about that? Brandon Chasteen, scholar who's baller of reading.
Sounds like a good idea.
How are you, Brandon?
I'm doing great, Nathan. How are you?
Welcome to the Bookening.
Good to be here.
Or the Watchening.
That's right.
As we might call it. Brandon?
Yeah.
Do you know who is to your left right now?
You.
That's correct. And I was getting my directions. But what I actually meant was, do you know who's
I think that might be Jacob Menzel.
Jacob Menzel? Pastor Jacob Menzel? He's a pastor who's a master of reading. There he is, folks. He's Jacob Menzel. He's a pastor. He's wearing the flannel. He's wearing the jeans. He's got the watch. Flannel?
It's not
no,
flannel.
It's not flannel. It's, what do you call that design?
Plaid.
You might call it like a tricolored gingham.
A tricolored gingham, yes. Yes. Now, Brandon, we've got you.
Yep.
Jake, we've got you.
Yeah.
Now, that's pretty good lineup right there. That's like a Bookening standard, a Bookening classic.
It's almost the bomb.
Almost the bomb. And that reminds me of another person who has appeared on our podcast before.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She, I believe, was called Dubstep Dani.
That's right, yeah.
Was what she went by. She specifically requested we refer to her as that. Given the subject matter on which we embark today, fellas, wouldn't it be interesting if old Dubstep herself was to be on the podcast?
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I cannot tell a lie. The woman in question, the mom who's a bomb of reading, returning champion, Dani M. herself. That very female is here right now in the room with us as we speak. Hey, welcome to the Bookening, Dani.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm glad to be here.
Dani was on the Bookening. She's the only returning guest that's back. Yeah, you're the only returning guest that's back. That's right. What I meant to say is you're the only returning guest that is allowed back.
Wow, thanks.
Andrew Henry, obviously, garbage. No one liked those episodes. Lucas, nobody cares about the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's not even democratic as far as I'm concerned.
Stephen Baker?
Stephen Baker, a 0. But you, my favorite guest star of all time, we had some fun together, right? I was hopped up on cold medications. Jake and Brandon, obviously, I mean, they're not bringing much to the table.
Right.
You helped me. We got through it. We recorded some great episodes. We talked about the great Agatha Christie, Dame Agatha herself. The great Agatha Christie, Dame Agatha herself.
Kind of like Dame Judi Dench.
Kind of like Dame Judi Dench. And that brings us to the subject of today's podcast, folks. Now, what happened today? This weekend, a movie came out. I'll tell you what movie it was. It was the third grossingest movie
Of all time.
not of all time, of this weekend. What took the weekend, you ask? Well, it was Thor Ragnarok. It made like $56 million. Did I read that on Box Office Mojo this afternoon? Yes, that's what I do with my time, folks. And after that, Daddy's Legs 2 or something like that.
What?
It's got Mel Gibson. Daddy tried. I don't know.
Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home. Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I looked it up on Box Office Mojo.
No.
I wanted to see whether
Should be
Murder
the
on the
name of
Orient
it.
Express made any money, and the fact is that it did.
I believe it.
Almost $30 million. Wow. The critics didn't like it. The audience that I saw it with, I'm not sure what they thought about it. Danny, for people that haven't listened to the other episodes, do you think that they should listen to those episodes?
The Murder on the Orient Express.
The Murder on the Orient Express episodes.
I think that they are enlightening.
Name your top 5 favorite episodes of The Bookening. Name your top 3 favorite people that regularly appear on The Bookening in order of
In order.
how much you like them.
Oh, wow.
Eric and Catherine. Donors.
Lovebirds.
The Lovebirds.
Yeah.
So good.
All right, that's 2. You just have one more.
Every time. Mr. X.
Mr. X.
Mysterious Mr. X.
Mysterious Mr. X.
Yes.
Mr. X. He goes by Professor X now. He got his,
Oh, does he?
He got his degree. I don't know. Actually, he said, "Hey, can you call me Professor X?
Is he-
Just
is he-
keep the checks coming,
Is
buddy."
he a strange desire?
No, he likes The Bookening. He has to go by a pseudonym. And when people ask to go by pseudonyms, Danny, you know what I do?
You do it.
I refer to them as pseudonyms. That's why I call you Dubstep Danny.
Did you know that up until like the end of our recording, I was thinking of Step Team, not dubstep.
What's Step Team?
You know, like with the step and clap and do
Yeah,
like stuff.
stop.
I still don't know what
Like
dubstep is.
It's you sang it last time. It was pretty good.
Dubstep Danny.
Still don't know what it is.
Everyone's dancing. Electronica.
I'm going to say I know what it is.
Good call.
I can keep going. We do have fun on The Bookening, folks, and even more fun today because we've got the great Dani McNeilly here, one of our favorites, returning champion, Dani McNeilly. And a fun fact about Dani, she'll cry if she wants to because it's her birthday. Hey, happy birthday,
true.
Dani.
Thanks.
And The Bookening, we'd be remiss if we didn't sing you a birthday song.
Oh, I was really expecting you would. Really.
Well, I always strive to
Meet expectations.
meet expectations. That's right. Jake, go ahead.
I had nothing.
Are there any famous songs with Danny's in them? Don't do that.
Oh, Danny boy.
Oh, Danny boy.
the pipes are call.
Can I tell you how
Famous songs
my
with
church
Danny?
growing up would sing happy birthday?
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Why?
It's the end of it.
Were
You know,
they
just-
all collectively having strokes while they sang happy birthday to you?
There should be the watching in right now, so we're gonna see my face. Like that.
If you can't see her face, folks, I'll describe it for you. She's nodding profusely.
False.
False. Our favorite catchphrase that came out of that episode, false. Jake says it all the time on many fine, and I'm always happy when he does. I feel like it's a little tribute to one of our favorite guest stars, the great Dani McNeilly, married to Alex McNeilly, the great Alex McNeilly.
It's true.
Would it surprise you, Danny, to know that the great Alex McNeilly, your very self-same beloved husband, is sitting right behind you?
That would not surprise me
Wouldn't it?
because we rode here together.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How's that? Was it an enjoyable trip?
Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, that's good. You know who else, Jake, would it surprise you? I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh?
In addition, this must be a day for love because Danny, she's obviously in love with Alex. He's sitting right behind her, sitting catty corner to you. Your beloved wife, she's wearing the Tim Burton pants. She really is. She's got Tim Burton looking pants. Tim Burton would really like those pants.
That's actually kind of accurate.
Yeah, no, I think we can all agree.
They're cuter.
I can't see the pants.
There's a woman that's wearing pants that Tim Burton would like. And that's not a sentence that I often think to myself, but sometimes she's made me think that sentence. They've got black vertical stripes for those of you listening at home. Your wife, Amanda, K. Menzel.
I actually was surprised that she was over there.
She was over there.
Yeah, I thought she might be in bed.
She wouldn't go to bed. She gets to listen to the magic. She gets to listen to the sausage be made at the sausage factory.
Nobody wants to know how the sausage is made at the sausage
Crayons.
factory.
Crayons, Nathan.
Pretty depressing until I edit it.
Wow.
Folks, we've got the great Dani McNeilly here, and you might be wondering, probably if you're like, well, they don't usually have Dani McNeilly on, as great as she is. She's not usually on the program. Whatever could bring her to set her vocal cords upon the Bookening microphone and release oxygen through her windpipe and form her tongue and her lips into various syllables in order to discuss things with an old
With a plum.
an old son of a sea biscuit like myself or like Brandon or like Jake. Dani,
Yes.
what brings you? Why have you darkened our doorstep, Dani?
That's nice alliteration.
Thank you.
I just happened to be at the same movie theater as you guys.
You went to a movie theater. Now, this is a book podcast where you're reading a book.
Movie tickets cost too much money to go read a book at the movie theater.
Were you seeing Thor Ragnarok?
I was seeing a film based upon a novel.
Okay, Jake, now you're a pretty savvy guy. You've got the little gray cells. What movie do you think that the great dubstep Dani herself, the mom who's a bomb of reading, was seeing with us? Sorry, folks.
What just happened there?
Sometimes. Oh, fun fact about Jake. That reminds me. Sorry, I will let the listener in on my thought process here because I was about to make a jump, but I will let you make the leap with me, dear listener. Okay, so what happened was I burped right there. There's no other spin to put on it. Brandon and I burped.
I don't know what to say, Nathan. I'm ashamed.
That was some gas coming up through my vocal cords. We talked about the great Dani McNeilly's vocal cords. My vocal cords, some gas came through them and it expressed itself through the old windpipe into the mouth and then out through into the microphone.
That's not anatomically correct.
Is that not anatomically correct?
No, unless your esophagus and your windpipe are one, it should be a problem.
Fun fact about my esophagus and my windpipe. They're one.
Explains a lot.
Does it explain a lot?
No, actually, no. Explain major health problems.
No, but what that brings us to, and the great Amanda K. Menzel sitting over there, she'll testify to this. No, yes. You both have K in your middle name, yes.
Yes, that's right.
Good job. So,
Thanks.
Jake. Well done, sir. Well done. So you, when Jake has a pop can, he gets a can of the old. What do you call the pop, Dani?
I usually call it pop, but my husband calls it soda.
Your husband calls it soda. Your husband.
So I've been leaning towards soda.
I think that's what a good wife will do.
It's Coke.
Coke. You call it Coke?
Yeah, Coke.
Like you'd be like, "Do you want a Coke, Nathan?" And then I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll have a Sprite."
Yep.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's how I grew up.
So when Jake has himself, as Brandon would call it, a Coke, but what the rest of us call a soda, what he does before he's opened it, right?
Yeah.
He taps the top of said soda can.
I used to do that.
And the great Alex McNeilly over there, the husband of the great Dani McNeilly, he is giving a thumbs up to this. Now, Jake, explain to us why you would tap the top of a soda thing.
Well, it's supposed to keep it from exploding on you.
Has it ever kept it from exploding on you?
I would never know. I've never had a Coke can explode on me whenever I've tapped.
So clearly it's worked every time.
My assumption is that, yeah.
I submit to you, sir, that your evidence is based upon a false correlation.
It's possible. Pig.
Thank you. It's always sad when someone says it's possible and then doesn't add pig. Folks, I know this is your favorite part, but we really should do donor shout-outs.
I love donor shout-outs.
You love... Okay, folks, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about the Murder on the Orient Express movie today.
Someday.
We'll get to it.
We started yesterday, and it's already today.
It's true.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The great mystery is if I'll be still 29 when we finish this episode.
Ouch. Shots fired. Much like in the great Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. Well, not really
There
shots
were
fired.
no shots
Yeah.
fired.
I feel like...
Well, in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
In
Much
the
like
movie.
And they
the-
almost wrestled off of a
introduces
train.
The film, all right, folks, enough nonsense. We got to do donor shout outs, so let's do it. Brandon, you ready to shout it out?
Let's do this.
Danny, you
Well,
going to help
they're-
Brandon
they're-
shout it out?
I would love to help.
We've never had a female help shout. Let me start that again. We've never had a female. I don't know how
Should we
to
do
get
it
that.
with a Belgian
do I-
accent?
Yes, I think.
Oh, I don't know if I can do a Belgian
The
accent.
Professor X.
All right, you know
Simple.
what? You can do it however you want, Brandon. You will get your opportunity, Brandon. I'll do Brandon, and then I'll have you do one.
Okay.
Brandon, okay. Brandon. Folks, this is for, by the way, if you want to be donor shout out, all what you do is you go to the patreon.com/thebookening. You sign up for the $10 a month or more level, and we will shout you out on the podcast. There's also that one time that we shouted out one guy who gives us $1 because I am a fickle creator of this universe. But usually you have to pay $10 in order to get the shout out. No one else that pays $1 will ever get a shout out. It was a one-time thing. Brandon Chastain, are you ready?
Are there kids sleeping?
There are kids sleeping, but
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Whatever. Life is short.
Yeah, that's what the great Amanda K. Menzel, she's over there. She likes to take care of kids. She'll handle it.
We'll do a moderate shout out.
A moderate shout out.
Belgians can't shout.
Belgians can't shout. All right. First, I'd like to shout out the great Benjamin T. What do you suppose the T stands for, Jake? I'm guessing Tiberius.
That's
That's
what
a
I was
good
going to
guess.
guess.
I was going to guess Timothy.
Brandon sucks. Okay. Benjamin Tiberius.
I can't do that with a Belgian accent. Benjamin Tiberius.
Yeah.
Timothy.
Okay. Next, we've got my beloved mother, Beth.
Beth Alberson!
Yeah. Brandon, I'll let you do Eric and Catherine, the lovebirds.
Eric and Catherine.
Me, Catherine.
And more birds.
Did you feel the European there? Now, this is a new shout out, Danny, so I want you to do an extra special good job on this one,
Okay.
please. Okay. This is for our new friends, our new Bookening pals, Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin.
Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin!
Yeah. The Lovebirds. I don't know. They need a nickname. What should we call Jay and Katie from... I'm going to get... What can we... Here, Jake's got the little gray cells. What can we divine about Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin based on their names and their location?
They're cold.
They're cold.
They like cheese.
They like cheese. All right, so I'm going to have to ask you to redo that. Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin. The cold, cheese-loving...
Cheeseheads. Just call them cheeseheads. You call people from Wisconsin.
The cold-hearted cheeseheads. No, they're not cold.
They're not cold-hearted.
No, they gave us money. That's true. All right. Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin. I don't know. Danny, it's up to you to incorporate their coldness and their cheesiness into a great donor shout out for our new friends, Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin. You can do it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Jay and Katie from Madison, Wisconsin, who are cold and love cheese.
Yay! I guess that's their appellation from now on. Now we've got John and Jill, the other lovebirds, and Max.
John and Jill, the other lovebirds, and Max.
You are in for a treat, Danny.
I'm so excited.
Give me 5. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Birthday treat for you. You get to do our pal, Professor X. A nice mysterious one for Professor X, please.
Professor X.
Professor X. A nice, you sounded like,
Hercules.
yeah,
I was channeling Ratatouille for that.
very nice. He's a French rat. He makes a good dish. He beats the critics at their own game, just like we're going to find out whether Kenny B's Murder on the Orient Express beats the critics at their own game.
Yeah.
Brandon, we've got a new one here. Interesting name this female has. Maya.
Maya. Maya.
I think we need one more.
Maya.
Maya. All right, and the person who is, I reiterate yet again for the listener who may wonder, not me, Nathan.
Nathan!
And of course, Brandon, you can finish it up with our the old
Rhonda and Robert.
Rhonda and Robert, the lovebirds.
Rhonda and Robert, the lovebirds. Mon mère et mes pères.
All right, folks, thanks for listening to Donor Shoutouts. Now, today what we're going to do, we're going to talk about, there's this movie. It's called The Murder on the Orient Express. Remove the article from the top of that. It's called Murder on the Orient Express. And this thing, star-studded, right, Jake?
Oh, yeah.
It's got the Kenny B. It's got the Daisy R. Who else has it got? The
Judy Dench?
The Shelley F. The Judy D.
Michelle Pfeiffer start with a P?
The Shelley P. I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry. Who else we got?
The Penelope C.
The
Oh, yeah.
Penny C. The Penny C.
The Penny C.
Joshy G.
Will D.
The Joshy G. The Will D. Willie D. Maybe my favorite character from the whole thing, which isn't saying much for the movie.
The Kenny B.
He had a genuine second of pathos,
there.
and I do mean a second.
He started there.
Oh, you started with Kenny B.
Oh, yeah, Kenny B. Did we name everybody in this thing?
Johnny D. Did you name Johnny D?
Johnny D.
yeah.
Johnny D.
okay.
Oh, yeah, no, Johnny D. The great Johnny D.
Derek J.
Derek J. He's in a lot of Kenny B's movies. Kenny B first saw Hamlet performed by Derek J. And he
Fun
loved
fact.
him. And and I think Derek J. actually was kind of a mentor to Kenny B. And then Kenny B. This is my understanding. He cast him in all his movies. He had him play the uncle in Hamlet, the great Kenny B's adaptation of Billy S.'s Hamlet. That concludes what's that?
Episode 1.
That concludes episode 1. Wow. All right, folks, today what we did, we watched the movie. It stars Kenneth Branagh. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh. It was written by some guy who may or may not be a good writer. That's one of the things we'll find out. If you've listened to our episodes on the novel, Murder on the Orient Express, you know that we were joined by Dani M, and we talked about it for 3 whole episodes. Fine time was had by all. So now we brought Dani M back, and she's going to talk to us on her birthday, the one birthday wish she made when she blew out the candles. She said to herself, I hope I get to talk about the Murder on the Orient Express with Nady A and Jake E M and Brandy
Brandy C.
Brandy C.
Easy.
C for Carlisle, I think.
And we the Bookening
For Carlisle. Brandy Carlisle.
Brandy Carlisle. Yep. We're in the business of making wishes come true. Murder on the Orient Express. We're going to talk about the movie. We just saw it on opening weekend because that's how hip we are. We see all the movies. There's an airplane. Baggage check. Brendan, did you like the novel? Remind us.
I did like the novel.
Jake, did you like the novel?
Yeah.
Danny, did you like that novel?
Yeah.
Nathan, did you like that novel?
Nope.
He didn't read it.
Danny, did Nathan like the novel?
No.
No. I tried to.
Nathan was a quitter.
Nathan was a quitter. I was a quitter. I did not read that novel. I don't regret it. Life is short. And Agatha Christie, she can't write that well. That's right. I said it.
I think I'm especially bitter because I read Gilead for the Bookening, and I wasn't even on it.
That makes 2 of us
But yeah.
that are bitter about reading Gilead for the Bookening. I wasn't on that one either.
Yeah.
The great mysterious P
how can
on
I
that
forget?
episode. Everyone's
I'm not
favorite
bitter.
character.
No one else here is bitter either.
Danny, and now have you seen any other movie adaptations of Murder on the Orient Express?
I have. I've seen one from the 70s with Charles Finney,
It's got the Albert P. F.
Albert
Albert
Finney.
F.
Albert F. Sean K. Or no, Sean C.
C.
Anthony
Oh,
P.
yeah.
Lauren B. Star-studded lineup there.
So I saw that, and also I've seen the David Suchet,
The David Suchet.
which was from 2000s, 20.
Yeah, mid-
No,
2000s.
Must have been.
it's more recent, I think, actually.
And I'll ask you for your ranking later.
Okay.
But give me your basic thoughts on the Albert Finney version.
You call it the Charles Finney version, by the way, which is pretty funny.
I don't even know.
Charles Finney.
He was like he was like a preacher,
It's
right?
full of
Yeah, he's an
Armenians.
That's
awful, wicked preacher.
Sorry.
Cards on the table.
Shots fired in your face, Charles Finney.
That's right.
But we're not here to talk about Charles Finney. We're here to talk about Albert Finney, the great interpreter of Poirot. And
Well, my opinion on that one, I think, is related to this one as
so
well.
we should save it.
Maybe I'll
Is that
save
what
it.
you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's a general observation about trying to put this book into a movie. That's
Okay.
difficult.
Can you give us any of your thoughts on the David S. version, David Suchet, the BBC version? Or does it all just have to wait until we unleash our thoughts upon
No,
it?
I think the David Suchet is it's pretty not heavy. I don't know. Is heavy the right word?
It's heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah, it's heavier than Finney. Definitely made a more lighthearted film.
Yeah.
You know,
Would you rank them
besides there being murder,
Finney lightest, Kenny B middle, and then Suchet would be the darkest?
probably.
I've never seen David Suchet. I'll do my baggage next. I've never seen David Suchet. I understand it's quite dark. I understand that mostly based on what Brandon told me on the Bookening episode, which you can listen to now on iTunes or wherever fine podcasts are downloadable. I have seen the Albert Finney and I really liked it, but it's been like a decade since I've seen it. I remember it's quite star-studded. I remember it has lots of fun actors from that era. If you didn't know my amazing acronyms, it's got the Sean Connery, it's got the Anthony Perkins, it's got Lauren Bacall. Who plays the...
Ingrid Bergman.
Ingrid Bergman, yeah.
That's right.
And who plays the... It does have Lauren Bacall, right?
Yeah, it does.
And who plays Mary Debonair in that version? Surely there's got some young thing from that day.
I don't remember who it is.
Some young lady. Me neither. But she's probably a star because everybody's a star in that thing. And so you got that one. And I really remember liking that one. But I haven't seen it for a long time. Jake, what versions of Murder on the Orient Express have you seen, my friend?
It's just the one we saw tonight.
Just the one we saw tonight. Your favorite of all
It's my
cinema.
It's my favorite version of Murder on the Orient Express of all cinema. Yeah, that I've seen.
That you've seen.
Yeah. Also my least favorite.
We'll use our little gray cells to come back to that one, folks, and figure out what it means. Brandon, what versions of Murder on the Orient Express have you seen?
All three of them.
All three of them.
That's right. It's been a while since I've seen the Albert Finney one, but I remember it as being light and fun.
Kind of fun. Like a bunch of Hollywood stars get together and ham it up a little bit and have some fun.
I'm not going to rank them right now either.
All right, we'll save that till the very end.
The Suchet one is dark, and I think it's dark because it actually tries to deal with the moral issue.
The moral quandary.
More than these others do.
Which if you really want to hear that moral quandary dealt with, you should probably listen to our episode on it. Because we dealt with the moral quandary on that episode.
It's quite a moral quandary.
It is quite the moral quandary.
She doesn't deal with really in the book at all.
She doesn't. They try to with the Suchet version. They try to with this movie too, and
succeed beyond our wildest expectations.
Oh boy,
folks! I don't think we're going to be able to. I think we're just going to have to say what we think about the movie. There's no dancing around it. Ladies first. Was this your favorite, Dani?
Yes.
Was this your favorite movie you've ever seen in your entire life? And you're going to dress like a different character every day until you die?
Nope.
Jake?
No, I may try out that mustache.
Let me try out that mustache. Do you think that you could, true or false, you could grow that mustache if you wanted to?
I don't know.
True or false, Kenny B could grow that mustache if he wanted to?
I'm not even sure about that.
I'm going to say false. I'm going to throw some shade at Kenny B. Kenny B stands for Kenneth Branagh. You're a moron, by the way. Brandon?
I could not grow that mustache.
That was my question.
For the record, I could not either.
You could have the great Danny M.
Just put it on the record.
For the record, if any of us could, it would be me. However,
if any of us has the manly virility necessary to grow that mustache, it would be the great pastor who's a master of reading himself, Jacob Menzel. Guys, what did you guys think about this movie?
Oh, boy. Go ahead.
Well, there's the question, what do you think of it as a movie? And what do you think of it as an adaptation of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express? Which I think are possibly two different questions.
Two different questions?
Not for me.
I don't care about it as an adaptation of the Murder on the Orient Express. Insofar as it is an adaptation of the Murder on the Orient Express, I'd say it's better because Murder on the Orient Express takes 6 hours to read. The movie took 2 hours to watch. Just 2 less hours than I would have.
I think I'd rather see the
I'm not
book.
good at math.
Four fewer hours.
It's not the mathing, it's the bookening.
I'd rather read the book again.
You'd rather read the book again than see the movie.
Yes.
Brandon, are you going to stake your claim as a hater?
Not a hater. I felt like I was eating a really bland pile of mashed potatoes.
On a train in the cold.
Which would be better than...
Nothing. Is that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to come up with something awful to eat.
Oh, would be better.
Like worms.
You weren't eating worms.
Would be better than stepping twice in a pile of
dung,
cow manure or whatever it was.
Probably horses.
Yeah, or camels.
For those of you who haven't seen the movie, there's a part where Kenneth Branagh, he steps twice in a pile of cow manure. One might argue that he steps a third time in the movie.
Manure of life.
The manure of the movie that he made. So Brandon, you're a hater, or you're an indifferenter. You're a mashed potatoes guy.
There were parts that were, some of it was really nice to look at. Mm-hmm. He knows cinematography.
Yeah.
Some of the shots were really beautiful.
Or he knows how to pay a cinematographer to cinematograph him.
Some aspects of his version of Poirot are more likable than Suchet's version, but it's not Hercule Poirot when it comes down to it. So
yeah, I kind of like that though, because Hercule Poirot, he's kind of like a jerk, and Kenneth Branagh was really cool and nice and gallant. So I was like, I don't know, I'd kind of almost rather spend time with this guy.
Yeah, they do away with some of the effeminate finickiness.
Yeah,
and just replace it with some other.
I think they stuck with the honor.
Yeah.
And the justice that Poirot has.
The
Try to make him more relatable.
That's right. Gave him more warmth, and
he's more of a man afflicted with OCD than he is just a feat.
That's right.
But even compared to the recent OCD detective of yore, like Sherlock and all those kind of guys, they usually play up the like, he's not good in social situations, but he sure is brilliant. And Kenneth Branagh was really, his Poirot is good in social situations.
He's just he's a normal guy who also has a really good eye and little gray cells.
I mean, that's kind of where it showed you one of the flaws in their representation too, because while it gets annoying to see the isolated, weird detective who is antisocial, you had that one scene where he tried to convince you that he was tortured by his ability to see the little details of life. But you never really saw him as a tortured person, except when he was
Decided
like holding
to be
like a 13-year-old holding his picture of his old lover. So,
Yeah.
Mi Catarina.
or the scene where he
What does that mean?
Well, per the helpful subtitle that they provided each time he said that phrase in the movie, it means my Catherine.
My Catherine.
My Catherine.
So it was hard to believe some of those moments, when he was lost and couldn't figure out this case, and so he was talking to his picture, and he was like, the world has no meaning anymore.
So they give Poirot, which is this canon? Does Poirot have a old girlfriend or something, and he talks to her picture?
And I don't think so. I've read a lot of Poirot, and I remember no girlfriends.
So what's interesting, if you compare this to the Suchet version, with the Suchet version, what they do is they make him a Catholic, and he's a devoted Catholic. And so obviously the conflict comes from the fact that if he doesn't turn them in, it goes against everything he claims he believes. And you actually see the struggle. He yells, he gets angry, and the conflict and tension is there. And here, they have to try and create it for you, but it doesn't really work.
No, it didn't really work.
I didn't believe that there was a crisis, like he couldn't figure it out.
It's a little hard to judge how this movie would play. I mean,
If you didn't know the ending.
Yeah, it's so...
That's true.
Knowing the ending really does hurt. I mean, I knew the ending when I watched the Albert Finney version. I don't remember a time where I didn't know the ending, because this, to me, feels like one of those classic endings that you just know. The way I remember the Albert Finney one is that you just had a lot of fun with all those great old actors, just like having a ball playing these rich, archetypal, ridiculous, colorful characters. And they kind of did that here, but I felt like nobody really got to cut loose except for William Dafoe had a couple good lines where it's just like, oh, William Dafoe's a cool guy. I thought
try to let Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, I thought Daisy Ridley got more screen time than she deserved because she's a star of a really popular franchise film. And
Yeah, Mary Debenham gets more stuff in the book, too.
does she?
Yeah, she does.
They added things, but she's a little specialer in the book.
I liked Michelle Pfeiffer as far as she went.
I think she did really well.
They didn't give her much to do, but she did a nice job.
Yeah, she got stabbed in the back.
She got stabbed in the back.
That was something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah,
So I think as compared to the book, they changed characters and they combined people, and I think that was all fine. I don't see a problem with that. Some people object to things like that. But
You said that you made a distinction. Is it a good movie? Is it a good adaptation? Would you say it was either one of those things?
Well, the problem with adapting this book to a movie is the part of the book is that you know all 12 suspects equally well and that you suspect all of them. And the problem with a movie is that you can't know all 12 of them equally well. I remember with the Finney that there was a part where a character appeared and I thought, oh yeah, he was in the book, but where have you been until right now when all of a sudden it's the big reveal? And this too felt like it's a little better than that.
I lost track of a couple characters. The lady that we all shed tears when she gave up her phenobarbital.
The count and countess.
I forgot all about them before
So they
showed up.
tried. Yeah, they tried to bring them up at the beginning with him being violent, so you'd remember them. But I kept wondering the whole time, where are the count and countess? Because I knew the book and I knew where they were supposed to be.
Well, he did the gymnastic
Yeah,
fight at the beginning.
that apparently he's like a famous famous ballet dancer and like on a diplomatic mission.
Yeah.
And he's a count. It's kind of weird. Added in the ballet dancer part. So I think that part this is just not an easy book to make into a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody could really do it very well.
I thought the Albert Finney, I haven't seen the Suchet one, maybe it's great. I thought the Albert Finney one, what they did in that version that I thought was nice is that, to me, it felt like they stacked the deck really nicely in the Albert Finney, where it's like, it's all stars of the same caliber and the same weight. So it's like, usually I can always identify the killer in any movie by, and I've said this before, I think I said it on the episodes we did previously. Oh, it's a name actor and he's playing the pharmacist. Well, I'm going to guess he's got a big speech where he's a serial killer at the end, because why else would this guy agree to do the movie? He doesn't just want to play the pharmacist. But what was nice about the Finney version was that everybody, it was people like Lauren Bacall, Sean Connery, folks like that, is just like, you felt like they all had weight. In this one, I felt like Michelle Pfeiffer had some weight. William Dafoe, against all odds, stole some weight just because he's awesome and put a little emotion into it. Just a couple line readings that were nice.
Well, and his was an actual surprising, fun reveal that he had been lying, but it was actually an interesting lie.
Yeah.
Josh Gad had some weight when he fell.
I got him. Nailed him.
It had all those extra, there had to be more gunshots because we're making this movie in 2017, and there had to be more falling off of wooden buildings because...
Which you can tell that Kenneth Branagh has no interest in because he doesn't stage those things well. He doesn't shoot them well. He doesn't edit them well. Everything else is really done nicely, but the fight scenes and the action scenes are just a bunch of quick TV cuts. The cane, yeah.
Becoming his weapon.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, they were trying to, you mentioned the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes. They were trying to do some of that.
Yeah.
So that first scene where they changed the whole reason he was there. Mm-hmm. Because he was actually there in the book. Wasn't he there for some British officer case?
He was in the Middle East, for some... Yeah. He was, with the army.
And then the guy ends up killing himself or something. So it's all... It has a dark... Or is that just in
that's just in the Suchet.
That's just the
You don't know
Suchet
much
version.
about it in the...
Okay.
But I think they're French, actually.
That's right, because that sets the dark tone for the Suchet from the beginning.
Yes.
The fact that he kills himself right there.
Right.
So I think you had two options. You either go lighthearted, where it's all about the cast of characters, but you know that Poirot is going to get them in the end. There's no conflict. There's no tension about that. Or you go the other route. If you try to go the middle route, which is what they did, the tension falls flat because you don't believe that Poirot can't figure it out.
Right.
You don't believe that crisis at all.
And you have to either do what Christie apparently does and just sweep the moral dilemma under the rug. I think that's a legitimate option if you're just like, this is a fun mechanical mystery that I devised because I first came up with they all done it and then I worked backwards and it's fun to try and figure out. That's legit. And then equally legit would be what apparently I guess Suchet does, which is the big Catholic drama of it all. And
I'm not sure I'm not sure it works, but it was definitely more interesting.
Yeah, this one tried to have the drama, and then he's willing to die because he'd rather die than
we didn't know why.
Live with this on his conscience.
Except he wasn't, because he was
Right.
actually handing an empty gun.
I sort of thought
I think
maybe
all it would actually show is that someone was really actually willing to kill him and would reveal themselves as a real killer.
like if Michelle Pfeiffer had pulled
then
the
what would
trigger
that
on
do? Yeah,
him
So it was
with
a
you.
test for
Yeah.
him to prove to himself that none
he
of
was
them were
wrong.
real killers.
Yeah. And that's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one thing that the Suchet does well is there is all this tension. You can feel the moral dilemma, and he doesn't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
This movie talked about it too much.
That's
Lots
right.
of exposition.
You see
Very
him praying the
cheesy
rosary.
exposition.
And you see him at the end, he actually loses his temper and he locks them in the room.
Right.
And I'm kind of talking myself into thinking of the Suchet version as the
good
best
one,
version
yeah.
of this. Because it actually deals with the moral dilemma. Even if he ends up with the same answer at the end, at least he doesn't like the answer. He's not saying he did this with his heart. He's saying, I kind
Right.
of hate myself for what I'm doing right now. And you feel the tension.
And all that stuff about you all deserve to go on and live
and
better
the
lives because you
beautiful,
really
like,
are
Disney-
good
Get a fresh
people.
start.
The beautiful Disney music as they're stabbing the guy.
That was my favorite
man.
part.
My heart will go on. Except yours won't.
It was just like brutal. Yeah, no, that was a good scene. Yeah, no, this movie really was. They always told and they never showed. They literally had a scene where where Kenneth Branagh turned to some random stock side character and was like, "I believe that the world must always be divided into perfect black and white, and I hope there's never a dilemma because that would throw my life into chaos."
Hashtag foreshadowing.
Hashtag foreshadowing. And then by the end of the movie, he was like, "My life has been thrown into chaos."
Because I had to
Didn't you
choose
see?
a gray option
Right.
that was neither black nor white.
Right.
But with the heart.
Yes, the great line, if you haven't seen the movie, the great line was what? I have been used to using my little gray cells. But
World
now,
of reason and order and method.
now, instead of using the little gray cells, he had to use his heart, folks. What does your heart tell you about this movie, Jake?
My heart tells me that this movie was terrible.
Terrible. Really?
Wow.
I didn't think it was terrible. I kind of had a fun time. I liked the cinematography. I liked seeing the actors. It's always fun to see those actors. The actors were pretty. So I will answer the question. Was it a good adaptation of Christie? Don't care. Sorry, Danny.
It's true. You don't care.
It is true.
I don't want you to pretend. Nathan.
Yeah. I've become more calloused. I was being polite the first time that we recorded a podcast.
You were
together.
trying to be nice to me.
Now I feel like I can say whatever I want because
really late.
It's really late. Yeah,
Or early.
Or early,
depending
yeah.
Which way you think of it.
I don't know. I don't really care that much about Christie. As far as movies go, it was pretty to look at. It passed the time well enough. Was it better than spending time with myself, thinking my own thoughts? Maybe on a bad day? It was a good Saturday afternoon time killer, I guess is what I'm trying.
I can't point to anything in particular, but it had some, I keep wanting to say it had some good Kenneth Branagh-isms, like the kinds of things that you like about Kenneth Branagh and his movies. They were there, but it just didn't all come together.
Like a close-up of his eyes tearing up.
Yes, lots of close-ups of his eyes tearing up and him really emoting silently into the camera.
What are the number one thing
that actually would have been better than more exposition.
More exposition, yeah.
more silent emoting.
The train crash was handled well.
Yeah.
I didn't like the train crash, actually.
Though, did anybody else realize that everyone else fell out of their beds and all their stuff fell out, but Ratchet was still perfectly in his spot?
Oh, wow.
Dead in his bed.
Is a problem.
I wondered. I thought, is he going to be thrown out of his bed? Nope, he wasn't.
I think it was because
he was Poirot was all the way almost in the hall, thinking he was dead.
Yeah, and the Spanish guy, who was actually Italian in the book.
Was that a line from the...
Yeah, he said, "Are we dead? Are we dead?
Are we dead?" This movie did feature the great Johnny Depp, everyone's favorite actor.
I actually liked him.
That was great casting.
I thought he was really good.
I think his Ratchet's the best I've seen.
The best of Ratchet?
Yeah.
He was definitely hateable, and it was good casting because everybody hates Johnny Depp because apparently he's some kind of... Yeah, but I didn't think... they gave us... that one part where they tried to show and not tell is they gave us some flashbacks to all the stuff with Daisy Armstrong. But they did not... I thought that part needed to be dark. We needed to feel really sad and sorry for that family in order for us to forgive all the murderers. And
so I think they tried to do it by going deeper on Daisy Armstrong. What Christie did was this was all about Daisy, but this dude, this was his pattern. He did this over and over and over and over and over and over again. It was his scheme to steal the children, to kidnap the children of rich people, ransom them, take the ransom money, kill the kid, and move on.
And he always got away with it.
And he always got away with it because of his mob ties or whatever.
And one of the big clues in the book is that Arbuthnot mentions a jury of 12.
Right. And they never talked about that.
They never did.
All.
And that's what actually got him. Well, you see that in the trailers, 12 people. 12 passengers, but that wasn't important at all, and that's why, because they were trying to be just, and they were trying to be right, and doing a jury of 12. That's why they had 12 of them, and it was twisted justice, but they were trying, and that was just totally gone.
In the book, True or False, what's his face? Johnny Depp goes to trial in the book for doing bad things. He gets off on a technicality, or
he gets off by giving a hint about a tip about somebody else.
But the fact is, the justice system actually specifically fails.
That's right.
Yes.
Which they did not make clear in the movie at all. It kind of, if you hadn't read the book, you would be forgiven for things. Maybe that you were actually supposed to think that Johnny Depp simply escaped to the continent or whatever.
That's sort of what it felt. The movie felt like, is he just sort of managed to get away. There was a false flag, maid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to slip the country before they ever put it together. And even at the end, when Branagh's or Poirot is I finally solved Dear Thomas Armstrong. I'm writing you now because I have an idea that you can somehow
hear me.
I finally got to the bottom of there was a trial. Everybody knew it was a trial. Everybody knew it was a thing. It was all in the papers. And he was able to walk away.
There's this kind of hint of, here's an unsolved mystery I never got to do. But it's not even, it's barely touched on. It's supposed to be
really rang stupid at the end.
Yeah, it was.
Well, and also I think the Count and the Countess in the movie at some point said, or no, was it the doctor? I don't know. One of those characters said, I was actually just going to turn him in. And given the setup in the movie, it's why didn't you actually turn him in? If he simply fled from justice, then in order to get justice for this guy, you don't actually have to
rat him out and turn him in.
Stab him 12 times in some elaborate plot. You can just take him to the police, which you're in a perfect position to be able to do.
There was also, not every movie can do everything, but I think in the Suchet, I like that they do more flashbacks of those people as they were. Yeah. We actually get a connection with you were the chauffeur. Well, and here they dropped this. You were the chauffeur. Say that word. You were the chauffeur, and he gave you a loan, so you can then. And so now I feel indebted to him. I don't know, there was more in the Suchet of like actual family connections, heart
Establishing
connections.
those emotional
Yeah.
bonds to the Armstrong family or whatever.
That they tried to do in this one some. I don't know.
This movie felt really short and not
It was short.
meaty.
It was short.
Like I wanted to spend a little bit more time getting to know the characters and
But it's an interesting point that it was like he was always the benefactor. Like he allowed the chauffeur to start some motor company by giving him hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it was. And he allowed the colonel to become a doctor by sponsoring him to be the only black man to be able to be in the class that whatever. And he was like this. It was as much about Thomas Armstrong being this.
I don't think his name was Thomas.
That's what I remember it being, but maybe I'm wrong.
John Armstrong.
I thought it was John.
Oh, well, okay, fine, John. I don't remember.
Sorry.
I'm going to fault Kenneth Branagh for not making a strong enough impression for me to know which way it was.
I think this one is a nice, if you're at home on an evening looking for a movie for a date night and it's free, sure, watch it. Or you pay $1.
Bad choice. That's right.
Yeah, I think it was. I believed that I was on a train. There were a couple times where there was some really, really well done cinematography. Even they're sitting in the tiny car and the camera's moving just a little bit. That made me feel like I'm on a train. Just little things like that. They were really well done.
But if you're sitting at home and
a lot of the really great shots were in the trailer, though. So
I felt like this movie.
Trailer.
Let's review the trailer.
The trailer.
A plus.
A
No.
plus.
Great trailer.
I could not keep track of the trailer.
What?
Trailer's great.
No, well,
your little gray cells.
No, I was trying to figure out who all the 12 people
They
were.
used that Imagine Dragons song.
That's true.
Genius.
Which they should have done in the credits. Note to Kenny B.
They should have done it in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like that song should have just been playing on repeat.
One of the trailers before the movie used a similar like beat rhythm thing to establish their trailer.
That would have been awesome if they had used that music. It would have elevated the movie like a lot.
Speaking of My Heart Will Go On, I'm pretty sure that was what they played in the credits, wasn't it?
That was a terrible credit song.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
A bad karaoke version.
I think old Kenneth Branagh's kind of settled down into a good commercial. He's the kind of guy that you can rely on to do an okay Thor movie or whatever these days. He did a great, by the way, my favorite Kenneth Branagh movie of all time, a movie that I've watched 3 times now and have shed copious saline tears from my eyelids. Danny, can you guess?
Nope.
It's about, Jake, can you guess?
I can.
You can give her a hint. You should give her a hint.
Pumpkin,
Charlie Brown?
glass.
Oh, Cinderella. That's
Cinderella,
good.
yeah,
It's
no,
good.
His version of Cinderella.
It's really good.
Wonderful.
It's great.
Wonderful. And it's because he's kind of cheesy and he just plays it straight, which is what he
Yes.
did here. And he doesn't try and dress it up with anything, all that, he doesn't try to add all these layers of psychological realism. He doesn't really give it any kind of a real, there's a little bit of maybe lip service to some modern-y kind of feministy things, but it's just the Cinderella story, basically. And it's really sweet.
It's just really good.
Yeah, it's really good. We
My
watched
kids
that.
like it. I like it.
We should tell the story as long as we brought that up. We watched that with Jake's children.
Oh yes,
And Jake's children were very involved in the movie.
That's right.
And at one time,
I have one child who is incapable of dealing with tension. And every time we watch a movie of any kind, he's out of his seat. He's like he's never on the edge of his seat. He's either sitting down or he's like up on his feet, bouncing up and down, and he can't handle what's going on. And maybe he needs to leave, and maybe not. And so
he was really intense during this. He was standing up through most of this movie, and you could.
It's always Ian, sit down.
Yeah.
Ian, sit down. And he's just like he loses himself in the moment in the movie and everything, and he's just
Now he's 14 years old? No, what is he? He's
he's 6.
He's 6. Yeah. So that gives you a little bit more context in case you needed it. Cinderella's coach, he's watching on the edge of his seat, and then Cinderella's coach crashes, and he stands up and turns around, puts his hands in the air, and goes, "No!"
That's so cute.
It's the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. He was really invested in this Cinderella
Straight
story.
out of a cartoon.
That's so sweet.
Why did I bring that up? Oh, just because we were talking
Kenneth
about
Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh. Yeah, that movie's great because it's simple, it's sincere, it's not afraid to just play the Cinderella story. But with
Gives
the one
an actual innocent, sweet Cinderella
Yeah, she's
without
just-
trying to like make her multidimensional.
She's not a feminist like that horrible Drew Barrymore in that movie that everybody likes, but not me. You like that movie? Of course you do. You like that movie. I called it.
I grew up loving that movie.
Everybody grew up loving that movie, myself included. Some of us repented of our
What movie?
But,
Ever After.
It's kind of fun.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's got Drew Barrymore.
It has Da Vinci in it. Leonardo da Vinci.
Yep, Drew Barrymore and Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And features Utopia, the book.
Zootopia?
Utopia.
Utopia, the book.
Utopia.
Yep.
Please,
It was ahead of
never
its time.
Zootopia.
Yep, the inspiration for the great film Zootopia, which I've not seen, but I guess people say yeah, or they like it a lot.
Blech.
Bleh, probably bleh. Jake bleh.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Kids have
Bleh?
seen it.
Bleh.
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 It's just kind of a meh slash bleh.
Meh.
I think Amanda
Meh,
watched
blah.
it with
Meh,
me.
Meh
blah.
bleh.
There's a-
Meh bleh.
Yeah.
It's a feminist rabbit.
There's an animal nudist colony. It's so
Oh, there
weird.
is.
Is there
Everyone forgets about that part when they're like, "Yeah, it's okay, movie," and then I'm like, "That's that nudist colony." They're like, "Oh yeah, it's a really weird part." That's right.
I like to think about things out of context. That would just be that was just a fun clip to think about out of the. I don't know. I can't
You put it in the trailer.
Yeah, I'll put it in the trailer for the Bookening.
for the Lookening.
For the Lookening. Yes, the Lookening.
Thanks.
Good job, Danny. Happy birthday.
You're welcome.
29 years, folks. She's been saying gems like that, dropping gems like that, saying wonderful bon mots.
We
I don't know what else to say about this.
We gonna
thing,
rank 'em?
guys? What?
rank them.
Brennan?
Rank what? Oh, the...
Adaptations, cinematic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can do this.
And
Kenneth
put the
Branagh.
book in there.
That was a
Oh.
book as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it fair? No.
No, it's not fair.
Welcome to the Bookening.
Oh, so I'll put the book at number one then.
wow.
Just because you're making me do it.
I'm pulling. Here's what I'm hoping for. Let me tell you. I'm hoping that Jake doesn't do that. But Jake's only seen the Kenneth Branagh movie, which means he has to do that crap.
No, it doesn't.
It's possible Jake
That's
might
true. He
like
could
Kenneth
put
Branagh.
some-
I've already figured it out.
I've got my fingers crossed that Jake will come through for me.
Even though
and-
it's not horrible, is at the bottom. Then
Okay.
the Albert Finney. Then the Suchet. And then the book.
That was going from bottom to top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bottom to top.
First of all, the great Kenneth Branagh. We're talking about how
Branagh
much
is my
we loved
least
it.
favorite, even though I'll watch it again, I'm sure. But it's my least favorite.
Wait, why are you
I
sure
don't-
you watch it again? Oh, you've got
My
a
wife
wife.
will wanna see it.
Yeah, your wife will want to see it.
Albert Finney. I don't really remember much about it, but it was fun. And Suchet, and then, the book. Here we
And
go.
then the book. All right. Here, we'll keep the Jake suspense going a little longer. Book last because it takes 6 hours. Never seen the Suchet. Assuming it's the best because I like Suchet as Poirot and I like his. So I'm going to put that at number one. Albert Finney, number two. And what's that other one? Oh, Kenneth Branagh. Not the most memorable movie. We are talking about a movie, guys, that no one will care about, I would say, in about 2 months from now. I guess it'll come out on DVD and maybe they'll do a little marketing push.
If Netflix picks it up.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that no one will talk about or care about. This episode, obviously, the Bookening is going to last for another 50 years, but this episode is going to have a shelf life.
Yeah, I saw something where Kenneth Branagh was like, "Yeah, I was hoping that this would kickstart me as Poirot and other Poirot films."
I think that's what his little "My Dear Catherine" thing is, definitely, because it is barely touched on. I think it's something that would pop up in another movie.
I thought that was just a
But-
bad screenwriter trying to add some pathos out of nowhere.
I think he was trying to give teasing his character that you want to see more.
Teasing the character.
Yeah,
Danny?
that's
Your ranking?
I'd put the book first.
Okay.
Put the Suchet next.
Suchet
I think
next?
I'd put the Branagh next. I did not. No, well, so here's the thing.
Oh, no.
I watched Scrooge,
Okay.
starring Albert Finney,
One of the worst movies ever
This
made.
winter.
Yeah, terrible.
and unfortunately, Finney's Poirot reminded me a lot of Finney's Scrooge.
That's not. Well, I guess that is Albert Finney's fault. But that Scrooge is an
So
affront
I-
to mankind.
I know. So I really didn't like his Poirot. Which then, I mean, I love Sean Connery and lots of other people in that movie, but his Poirot just grated on my nerves. That was unfortunate.
I literally remember this much about that.
Yeah,
Brennan just
and I
made it
remember
a very
that one
small
also
thing.
being not as well developed in the story and a lot more like, we've got a lot of people and we've got to make it sure they all did it. Just not as well crafted, I think, even as the Branagh.
Oh, man.
I know, right?
Well,
Like I would for sure watch the Branagh again before the Finney.
really?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. You lose points.
You're supposed to say
What?
false.
False. Incorrect. I don't agree with that. Jake, your ranking, sir.
I'm going to put at number 4 the Branagh film.
Okay. It's the least thing that you'd ever...
So the way I'm going to rank these is
what you do.
What's going to be most likely my next encounter with Murder on the Orient Express?
I like that.
I like that.
And so the Branagh film is going to be number 4.
Right.
And the book's
It's also the one that you just watched a couple hours ago.
Exactly, yeah. But this is how I'm able to
He's a
satisfy Nathan here.
Okay, good.
Okay, so work with me. Number 3 is going to be the book.
You'd rather spend 8 or 6 hours reading that book again. I don't want to push things because I know you're working with me here, but let me just ask the question and you can answer it however you want.
I can see myself... Now, the truth is I will watch the Branagh film before I read the book again, but that's only because it'll be on Netflix and Amanda will be like, oh yeah, I wanted to see that. And you guys talked about it and I never got to see it and we'll watch it together and I will never read the book again. But if it were my personal preference, I can... just me on an island, I can see myself wanting to read the
with
book.
a DVD player.
With the
Does this island have electricity?
Yes.
Yes, it has electricity and Blu-ray players and
Is it called
an
Long
extensive
Island?
Blu-ray collection. Yeah,
Is this Long Island? Okay.
This is Jake's Island situation.
So you're in a swanky apartment on Long Island.
All my island situations are either Long Island or the Bahamas or
Hawaii.
Yes,
Manhattan.
Fuji.
Yeah, and the great island of Manhattan.
Fiji?
Yep.
Fiji, yes. What did I say? Fuji?
Fuji.
Yeah.
Like a film company, right?
And apples. Fuji apples.
Anyhow, I could see myself wanting to pick the book up again for beach reading before I actively seek out the Kenneth Branagh film again. And so then it's down to would I see the Suchet version or the Albert Finney version first.
Our hearts are in our throats.
Yeah, and that's just going to come down to ease.
Whoever's on Netflix or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
guess who's on Netflix?
What is on Netflix?
Suchet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The Suchet
Nice.
murder is on Netflix? Well,
The Suchet murder.
You're going
You're gonna kill Suchet.
It does add extra intrigue to the fact that Suchet was murdered and they put it on Netflix.
Suchet murder on the Orient Express. I'm sorry, I didn't know I
It was
needed to-
italicized. We missed the italics.
Yeah, you sure
Didn't need
slipped
it.
up there, Jake. No one could understand what you were trying to say.
Well, I didn't know that, so I was gonna put the Finney one at the top because it's at like the top of the iTunes thing right now, and that's very easy and accessible to just open up. You know, Apple TV. I have Apple TV. Open it up and flip up movies, and there it is, right there.
I do not have any of those things.
But if the Suchet version is on Netflix, then maybe
It was not too long ago.
okay. Well,
It might. Well, I don't know.
Given the recommendation of everybody here, plus the availability on Netflix, I'm going to put Suchet at number 1.
Sounds like Suchet wins.
Suchet wins.
Yeah.
He's going to win no matter what, I think.
We'll award him 50 points. Danny lost 2 points for something. I forget what.
Nathan lost 100 points for not reading the book
Yeah.
on the Bookening.
I gained like 900 minutes by not reading the book.
900, that's a lot.
I'm a really slow reader. But I mentioned the fact that I can't actually read.
Oh man,
I was going to have to sound out the words.
that's like it's like 15 hours.
That's probably how many episodes Close Reads will have on it.
Got him. Well, David and Angela, if you're listening, we hope we elucidated your experience of Murder on the Orient Express. All right. If someone has a choice, they can either watch the Kenneth Branagh version or die by being stabbed 12 times by 12 different people. What do you tell them to do, Danny?
Watch the movie.
That's right. You heard it here first, folks. Watch the Kenneth Branagh version. Jake?
I'm going to go with the same answer. Yeah.
The same answer?
Yeah.
Brandon, would you rather watch the Kenneth Branagh version or be stabbed 12 times while cheerful piano music tells everyone how wonderful it is that you're being stabbed 12 times?
That's kind of a dramatic way to die. I suppose I'll go with watch the movie.
Watch the movie. But I kind of like the movie. So I'd watch half the movie and be stabbed 6 times. How about that?
And once in the back.
Once in the back.
Because you like the movie so much.
I didn't like the movie that much. I liked Kenny B. I would watch more Kenny B movies. Here's a question, Danny. Would you watch more Kenny B movies about the great Hercule Poirot?
That's a good question. I'd probably watch more.
Would you watch? I hear that someone was murdered on the Nile.
Okay, that.
How'd you like that? Folks, if you haven't seen the movie, it literally ends with some guy running up to Poirot and being like, "Mr. Poirot, there's been a murder on the Nile.
Says, on the bloody Nile.
On the bloody Nile.
There was a death on the Nile."
In Death on the Nile, Poirot is on the boat when the person is killed. So really, just clumsy. Like, oh, hey, look.
It's like
we can throw out the Nile and everyone will go, ha, ha, ha.
It's the one other book by Agatha Christie they might have heard of besides,
Right.
And then there were none.
Did they ever say
Which is
that?
going to be a movie next year.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starring Kenny B? No, there's no Poirot.
No. Starring what's
Jennifer
his
Lawrence.
face?
No, the chick is
Batman.
the plum role in that.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Now that's another one where you have to get to know all the characters.
Wait,
that
Ben
I don't
Affleck
trust
is going to
them
be Hercule Poirot?
No. And then there were none as no Poirot.
There's just
I was totally lost. I thought we were saying that the Death on the Nile was
Ben
becoming a
Affleck
movie.
is Poirot. That'd
Ben Affleck is Poirot.
be interesting.
they purposely
I did
set
think-
up the sequel where Ben Affleck is going to play Poirot.
I thought Branagh might be a little tall to be Poirot.
I thought Branagh was tall. I thought he was completely out of character from the Poirot I know, and I loved him. I thought the script failed him. I thought the script was terrible. I thought all the attempts at giving him pathos and everything were terrible. I thought all the exposition about, like, I want the world to be like this, but actually people stabbed Johnny Depp 12 times, and I can't handle that was terrible. But I always enjoy Kenny B in anything, usually, and I liked him. I liked this character. I would if somebody was just like, here's a show starring a guy playing a detective called something else, Kenneth Branagh's Belgian detective, I would watch that with a weird mustache. I'd watch that.
I probably would too.
So yeah, I liked Kenny B. I liked Kenny B as Poirot, or I liked Kenny B in the movie as Kenny B. And Kenny B liked Kenny B too. Kenny B included lots of close-ups of Kenny B.
Kenny B loves Kenny B.
Kenny B loves Kenny B. I think
It's the one thing that shines through in every
Kenny
Kenny B movie.
Yep.
Except for Cinderella, which is incidentally his best film. Thanks for listening. You've heard it a billion times, folks. Nobody cares. Go to patreon.com/the Bookening. Now, Brandon, you've got some special information for us. Isn't that right, sir?
That's right. We've got a friend of Warhorn Media.
Friend of Warhorn Media, Joffrey the Giant.
Just Joffrey Swait.
Joffrey Swait, the great Joffrey Swait, a friend of the show, I would say, and a friend of Warhorn Media.
So Jake's going to say something.
Jake's going to say
Yeah, he's got a new book on poetry out, and you should check it out.
Yeah, you should.
What's the name of the book again?
Well Met, Poems of Companionship. I turned to just one random one here and thought it was nice.
It was a haiku, true or false, yeah.
Florida Freeway Haiku.
Let's hear it.
When we hit the Indian town exit going south, heat lightning out to sea. It's a nice little sharp image there. I thought that was pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a nice haiku.
Good job, Joffrey.
Yeah, good job, Joffrey. Look forward to reading it.
Buy a copy for your friends. I hear they make great stocking stuffers.
That's right.
Buy a copy for your friends, for your wife. Danny, would if Alex was to say, "Happy birthday, honey. I thought ahead. I got you 10 copies of Well Met by Joffrey the Giant." Would you kiss him?
I'd always kiss him.
Just in general.
I just like kissing him.
You just like kissing him?
I do.
All right. Well,
It's true. On the record.
on the record. You're willing to go on the record. We only ask the hard questions here. Brandon, you like kissing your wife? I do. Jake?
Yes, I do like kissing my wife.
Your wife, yes. I'm glad you specified.
I'm so glad you asked that, whether
Absolutely
or not
clear.
I like kissing Alex. Which is what I thought you were
No,
going to
I don't. Nobody here cares for kissing Alex except for the great Dani McNeilly, and glad we are of it.
Outro time.
Abitrode?
Outro.
Outro.
Outro time.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to The Bookening, everybody. Join us next week. We'll be, Danny, you want to know what we're doing next week?
I'm on pins and needles.
You're on pins and needles. All right. We make all our guest stars actually sit in beds of pins and needles.
That's why I'm trying to rush this along.
We feel it brings out the best in them. We'll be announcing our book list.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Yeah. You want to take a guess what's on there?
The House at Pooh Corner.
False.
Okay. Dr. Seuss.
False.
False.
Mansfield Park. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I cannot tell. I don't know. Maybe.
Bleak House.
Maybe.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Can you get a third?
Shakespeare.
True.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
I'm not giving you any points for that. In fact, I'm deducting points. And I'm deducting points for your whoop whoop. Did not care for that at all.
I thought it was kind of dubstep-ish. No, it was not very dubstep.
I don't know. It might have been dubstep. If you can get one more, which your husband should be able to help you out. The great,
He's got the whole list over there.
Old Alex McNeilly, a very kissable gentleman, I'm told, likes to be kissed. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. What? The Big Sheep.
The Big Sheep.
Okay, yeah, my favorite novel, The Big Sheep. I love The Big Sheep. The great detective novel, The Big Sheep.
It actually sounds like a picture book.
Yeah, it is. It's like 6 pages long. One of those block books.
Now, it have to be the Lookening then.
The Lookening for The Big Sheep, yeah. The Big Sheep. Hey, Dani, thanks for being on. Happy birthday.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you join us again sometime.
Me too.
When you turn 30.
Woohoo.
And 31.
Woohoo.
And on into the centuries.
On into the centuries.
I hope we're all vampires condemned to do this forever.
False.
False.